Today's important headlines: 97th Academy Awards, Oscars, the topmost awards in the world cinema. It is Anora's night. Anora movie almost got 5 awards in different perspectives. The best movie, original screenplay, Sean Baker, Anora. Editing, Anora, Sean Baker. And best picture, again Anora. And original score, The Brutalist, Daniel Bloomberg. Cinematography, The Brutalist, Lol Crawley. And if you see, Anora is a low budget film. If you see in the exchange value, 50 crore rupees was spent for Anora. Far below than Bahubali, far less than Triple R, far and far slighter, lower than Pushpa 2 also. But this small Hollywood movie got the revenue of 350 crores. It's a story of a high-end prostitute and a Russian oligarch billionaire's son. He secretly married her, and the Russian rich family offered money to her to get rid of this marriage. And how, whether she will accept the money, whether she stays with him, is the story. The story is all about a prostitute, New York-based prostitute, Anora. And 5 awards were bagged by Anora, a small movie. It's a best example where investment and big themes are not necessary to win Oscars. Almost Oscar awards are 100 years back. The first Oscars, the establishment of this Academy Awards or Oscars started in 1927. It has a long history. They are considered as the topmost awards in the world cinema. People await. And we have seen 97th awards, Oscar awards. And I can tell you, these awards will be announced annually. They will be announced annually. So, rest all. Best actress, Mikey Madison. Best actor, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. Best actress, Mikey Madison, Anora. And we have seen best international film, Brazil, I'm Still Here. And best original song, El Mal. And best animated feature film, Flow. Best adapted screenplay, Conclave. Best production design, Wicked. And best documentary feature film, No Other Land. And overall, Sean Baker, the best director. And overall, Anora have rocked the show and Oscar Awards platform. This is the important news that is coming up. Next important news that is coming up, police yet to understand fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court on March 3rd asked how a poem by Congress MP Imran Pratap Ghari, which plainly translates to the suffering of injustice with love, has stirred the Gujarat police into registering a criminal case against him on the charge of promoting enmity among people of different groups on the basis of caste and religion. Supreme Court asked the police to understand the true meaning of fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression. Just a poem, which was just a poem, which have the words suffering of injustice with love. Based on that poem, how can you register a case on a MP? Do you really understand the meaning of fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression? In India, we have Article 19(1)(a), and there are reasonable restrictions for Article 19(1)(a). But unfortunately, the restrictions by the government, the restrictions by the society are far more stringent than the restrictions provided in the Constitution. The government, whenever you speak any sentence against the government, they consider it as against security of the state and sovereignty integrity of India. Every citizen have the right to dissent. Every citizen have the right to protest. And every citizen have the right to say that he has meted out with injustice. When you don't allow it, we don't have freedom of speech and expression, the fundamental right in our constitution itself. So for that reason, police should understand what do you mean by freedom of speech and expression, told by Supreme Court. Next important news that is coming up is with respect to Ranveer Allahabadiya. You all know Ranveer Allahbadia's show and the criticism erupted in this show. The comments made by him about parents, intercourse, and can you see your parents' activities, all these things. Ranveer Allabadia approached Supreme Court for interim relief, requesting the Supreme Court to allow him to continue his show. He said, more than 200 people are dependent on me. It is my livelihood. I have to continue my show. Please help me out. Supreme Court allowed to continue his show, but Supreme Court said, your content should be decent and moral. Vulgarity and obscenity should not have a place in your content. You avoid such content. The Supreme Court asked Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the centre, to suggest regulatory measures to rein in use of filthy language and vulgarity, which passes off as humor in programs streamlined online. The court said that regulatory measures were intended to ensure that programs adhere to well-known moral standards of Indian society without sliding into censorship of fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. Again, the question, there's a thin line, thin difference between freedom of speech and expression versus vulgarity, indecency, obscenity, immorality. So we are crossing the line and we are breaching that line. We are crossing the line and we are breaching that line. That's the thing. Sometimes in the name of humor, we are speaking vulgarity. Particularly if you see, even in Telugu TV shows, the talks, substandard talks, substandard comments, substandard jokes, they are not that fine in the Indian society. Next news that is coming up, Indian woman executed in UAE for infant's murder. Ministry of External Affairs confirmed the execution. An Indian woman from Uttar Pradesh who was sentenced to death in UAE for murder of 4-month-old child was executed on February 15th, and after 13 days, the government got the information. The woman identified as Shahzadi was convicted on July 31st, 2023, and her death sentence was upheld by appellate court in UAE. She was incarcerated at the central jail in UAE before her execution. Additional Solicitor General Chetan Sharma informed Justice Sachin Datta that her last trials are scheduled for March 5th and arrangements are being made for her family members to travel to Abu Dhabi. And the court said, very unfortunate. The Delhi High Court was hearing the petition filed by Shahzadi's father, who got executed, the Shahzadi, her father, who sought updates on her daughter's legal status and well-being. According to the petition, she has travelled to Abu Dhabi in 2022 on a work visa and was employed as a caregiver for a woman who has recently given birth to a baby. After the infant deaths, a video surfaced in which Shahzadi was allegedly seen confessing to the crime. Her appeal against the death sentence was dismissed on February 28, 2024, and Shahzadi got executed. It seems that there's a news that she killed the child by asphyxiation. Okay, she has throttled the throat of the child. So this is the news. But the thing is, when any foreign national is being executed in the foreign country, though she has committed a grave offense, before execution, there should be an information to our MEA. That's a rule. That is a convention and protocol that is being followed in various countries. But how come, without the notice of MEA, UAE have taken such a decision of executing our national who is working there? Might be she has committed a grave offense. India would have tried to diplomatic channels to commute her death sentence into other sentences. Without giving such chance, if the government of UAE takes such decision, it's a big thing. And last year also, government of Qatar have taken such a decision, but India opened its diplomatic channels and the death sentence was removed, was suspended for 8 naval officers. So these things we need to be very, very careful. We need to be very, very careful. One more issue that is going on, a nurse in Oman. The issue is also going on, still pending, a nurse in Oman. But this issue is a very big issue which India should take a call immediately. So this affects our IR, foreign relations also. We should be very, very careful. Coming back, every year on March 4th, we observe National Safety Day, which emphasizes the importance of maintaining safety and health in workplaces and communities. It marks the beginning of Safety Week, reinforcing the significance of preventive measures to ensure well-being and accident prevention. The day serves as a reminder for individuals and organizations to adopt and prioritize safety protocols in all aspects of human life. The theme for National Safety Day 2025 is Safety and Well-being, Crucial for Viksit Bharat. Key objectives of National Safety Day: expand the reach of safety, health, and environment movement across India, encourage broad participation from industrial sectors at various levels. The first ever National Safety Day started in 1966 by National Safety Council of India, which was established under Ministry of Labour. The National Safety Council was created to enhance national security, workplace safety, and environmental protection. Next important and interesting news is coming up with respect to Gangetic dolphins. Gangetic dolphin is our national aquatic animal. A study finds that 6,327 Gangetic dolphins are in 4 states in India. 6,327 Gangetic dolphins. The first population estimation of riverine dolphins in India has revealed the presence of 6,327 dolphins in Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus systems, according to the government report published on March 3rd. The report titled Population Status of River Dolphin in India. As part of Project Dolphin, a comprehensive study was conducted for the first time to estimate the population of river dolphins across 8 states: UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Assam and Punjab. Uttar Pradesh has the highest number of dolphins at 2,397, followed by Bihar 2,220 and West Bengal 815, Assam 635, Jharkhand 162 dolphins, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh 95 and Punjab only 3 dolphins. The Ganges river dolphin, known for its unique features, is found in Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna river systems and its tributaries across India, Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. A small population of Indus river dolphin, a close relative of Ganges river dolphin, is found in the Indus water system in India. According to the report titled Population Status of River Dolphin in India, it is one of the world's largest freshwater surveys covering the entire range of Ganges river dolphin in Ganga and Brahmaputra, as well as Indus river dolphin in Beas river. So, Ganges river dolphin is very, very important for this year's exam. You should also know Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji announced Project Dolphin on August 15, 2020 to conserve dolphins and other aquatic ecosystems. It's very important. We have Project Dolphin. Monitoring dolphin population is crucial for conservation, especially river dolphins conservation. This is the news all about. Star mark question for this year prelims. Ganges river dolphins, first ever population census was conducted. And you might get a question about in which state in India highest number of dolphins can be found, and also the features of dolphins. They might ask a direct question on dolphins, not about data survey, but they might ask about any question about dolphins. Next important news, India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar to visit UK, Ireland from March 4th through March 9th. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar will embark on a 6-day visit to UK and Ireland beginning on March 4th to explore ways to further boost bilateral cooperation. Jaishankar ji first travelled to London and he is going to hold talks with British Foreign Minister David Lammy on a range of bilateral, regional and global issues. It was interesting to see whether Jaishankar and Lammy discuss the Ukraine conflict, as their meeting comes against the backdrop of heated exchanges between Donald Trump and Zelensky. 2 days after the rare clash between Trump and Zelensky, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosted a summit with European leaders in London and vowed to work towards a peace deal to end the war in Ukraine. Jaishankar, our foreign minister, and David Lammy, British foreign minister, they are also expected to touch upon ambitious India-UK free trade agreement and major issues with respect to wars, trade and other things will be discussed in the agenda. This is an important thing. The next very big news that is coming up, that is C3. India proposes a global platform to accelerate circular economy adoption. Capital C and numerical 3, C3. Cities Coalition for Circularity. C for Cities Coalition for Circularity. India proposed a multinational alliance for technical collaboration, partnership and cooperation between private sectors at the city level to accelerate the circular economy for a sustainable future. India's Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs said that to carry forward the vision of Prime Minister Modi, he suggested a new platform, Cities Coalition for Circularity (C3), as a multinational platform for city to city collaboration, knowledge sharing, and private sector partnerships. We are working on 3R. Now we will work with C3, which will be a multi stakeholder, multinational platform for sharing knowledge, technical expertise, and best practices. This will be in the form of Jaipur Declaration. This C3 will be in the form of Jaipur Declaration. This is also very important. A circular economy in an economic system aimed at reducing waste and pollution while keeping the resources to the optimal use. The city's resources will be kept at the optimal use. Knowledge sharing, sustainable cities is the objective of C3. C3 is very important. You can use it in your mains also. It's very important. Next news, India's first World Peace Center. India's first World Peace Center, established by Ahimsa Vishwa Bharati under the guidance of Jain Acharya Lokesh. It was inaugurated by our former President Ramnath Kovind. And the aim of India's first World Peace Center to strengthen peace building and sustainable development efforts. The center promotes peace, environmental preservation, and equality. The inauguration of World Peace Center marks a new chapter in India's efforts towards global peace, inspiring millions to work towards harmonious and compassionate world. It's very important. India's first World Peace Center. And coming to, in the 250 years history of America, you all know America got independence in 1776. American Constitution was made in 1789. In 250 years history of America, they never recognized English as a national language. Though English dominates in America, for the first time in American history, an executive order was signed declaring English as a national language. There is a term in IR called cultural nationalism. Language is a part of culture. Out of 34 crores of American population, more than 6 crores speak non-English languages like Chinese, Spanish, etc. More than 250 languages, small and big, prevail in America. Till now, no government have taken such a drastic step to declare English as a national language. If you see in India, we don't have a concept called national language. We have a concept called official language. According to Article 343 of the Indian Constitution, Hindi in Devanagari script is our official language. There are many demands to impose Hindi as a national language, but we protect diversity. We protect inclusivity. America is a land of immigrants with many languages. Now, imposing English on everyone is not a good idea, said by Democrats. But around 30 states in America recognize English as an official language. As English is a national language from a long time in America, now it was declared as an official language by the Donald Trump government. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Mr. Stalin has once again reiterated a controversy with his remarks. He asked the newlywed couples in Tamil Nadu to procreate children very fast, as Tamil Nadu is seeing the threat from delimitation. Stalin, Tamil Nadu CM, while attending the wedding function, urged young couples to have children immediately after marriage as higher population criteria. Stalin urged young couples to have children immediately after marriage as higher population is the criteria to get more number of MPs in Lok Sabha in delimitation. Stalin's fears likely stems from the reason that upcoming delimitation exercise based purely on population will reduce the South's representation in parliament compared to the North. Stalin reiterated in his video statement, our demand is clear. Don't determine parliamentary constituencies based on population alone. Do not penalize the South Indian states that took responsible measures to control population growth. So, if you go with population basis, North Indian states will have more MPs and South Indian states will have less MPs. North Indian states will have more MPs and South Indian states will have less MPs. There is another news that is coming up, Lancet report. You all know Lancet give report on health and other issues related to health. 1/3 of Indians to be obese by 2050. Obesity is a big problem in India as we are not taking care of our healthy things, healthy food. Most of us are becoming obese. Particularly with obesity, we will get all the diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, and fatty liver, many things. Even for children, most of the states have banned junk foods like Kerala, Bihar. They are striving to ban some junk foods for the kids also, because kids are also facing this obesity problem in India. So there's an interesting news, very important news that is coming up. The Supreme Court on March 3rd struck down a provision in Madhya Pradesh Judicial Services rules barring visually impaired and low vision candidates from judicial services in the state, and underline the importance of ensuring substantive equality. The word substantive equality is very, very important for us. Remember this word. No candidate can be denied consideration solely on account of their disability. Any indirect discrimination that results in the exclusion of persons with disabilities, whether through cutoff or procedural barriers, must be interfered with an order to uphold substantive equality. And court said, we have touched upon the constitutional framework and also institutional disability jurisprudence. The court said that rights-based approach necessitated that persons with disabilities must not face any discrimination in the pursuit of judicial services opportunities. And the court also said that right against discrimination based on disabilities should also be included in Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. Right against disability bias should be included in Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. So the court have given 122 pages judgment. Disability as a ground for non-discrimination was not included in Article 15. A constitutional amendment to Article 15 to address this glaring omission has been a long-standing demand of the disability rights movement. It has been a long-standing demand of the disability rights movement, and that was a interesting thing which you need to understand. And other important news that is coming up, you have one more important news. ISRO releases second set of scientific data from Aditya L1 mission. The Indian Space Research Organization has released the second set of scientific data from Aditya L1 solar mission. The data sets comprise valuable scientific information about the sun's photosphere, chromosphere, and its outer atmosphere, that is corona, along with the in situ particles and magnetic field measurements at the first Earth-Sun Lagrange point L1. This is very important news which you need to understand. Okay, this year you might expect a question on sun's atmosphere also. Here, photosphere, chromosphere, and also most importantly sun's outer atmosphere, that is corona. Photosphere, chromosphere, and also sun's outer atmosphere, that is corona. కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.